welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug. Or Smaug. Smaug. Yeah. Sorry, I said it wrong I think for a long time, and I still want to say it the way I've always said it, but I'll try and be good. Although we won't be talking about Smaug much at all anyway, because he's not in the book or in the movie that much. Okay. If you watch my video of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, kind of like a overview, then you know this is probably going to be a rant. You are correct. Thank you if you're one of my new subscribers. We hit 50. Woohoo! I'm definitely cutting that woohoo out. Woohoo! But I really appreciate it, and I've been so happy to be able to talk to more people in the comments. So thank you. Let's get into Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug. Smaug. I think it's Smaug. Okay, sorry, I'll stop saying it. I got Archimedes here to help, although this time it's just water, sadly. It's usually coffee and not anything else. Let's talk. So I will say that I don't like this movie. I'm just going to get that right out there. If you love it, this is going to all be spoilers for the book and the movie. And I'm going to go over kind of the problems I have very generally, and then go through the timeline of the movie and things that really stuck out to me as just egregious. I will say that, so starting off, the biggest problem I have with this movie is that this movie makes Bilbo a side character. Bilbo is not the main character of this movie. He's a side character. He has his one kind of big interaction with Smaug at the end. And it's so different from the book, because the book is Bilbo's story. And it's introducing hobbits, which are, Tolkien's creation, into, the world so that you can understand them better, which is why everything is pretty much from Bilbo's perspective. And that's what really kills this movie for me, is that I love the character Bilbo. And we're supposed to be on the journey with him. We're supposed to be seeing everything from his eyes, from the perspective of a hobbit who doesn't know what he's doing, who has to find his courage, who then turns into being very clever and able. He does have this luck that he seems to just be able to get them out of these situations, and the dwarves all coming to respect him for that. And it's this great, he has a really great character arc, and then at the end he really has to make a choice of who he is and what his, what he's going to, where he's going to make his stand. And that's a great character arc. I love Bilbo. And this movie just adds so much of unnecessary stuff that you don't get anything of Bilbo. There's so little of the stuff that makes, his character great. And actually they, kind of make his character a little bit less likable. I'll kind of get into that. So, yeah, I think that was what hurt this movie the most for me. And I was really surprised by watching it with that kind of lens, as far as well, where's Bilbo? How much the story focuses on other little side issues. So, this movie starts out with them being dropped off by the eagles. So they're, the goblin or the orcs are still chasing them, and they are going to go try and find shelter, and they end up running to Bjorn's house. Or Beorn is how they say it in the movie. I always thought it was Bjorn. I'm going to say how I like. And this is really unnecessary. I love Bjorn in the book. He is in the book. But they make his part in it so short that they might as well have just left the dwarves at Mirkwood. They should have just had them start there, rather than introducing another unnecessary character that they're not really going to explore or give any real depth to. So I kind of didn't like the part with Bjorn, which bums me out, because he's a great character in the book. I thought his appearance was weird. I thought the way that they cast it was weird. It was a huge bummer for me. And I would have liked to have seen more exploration of that. The whole introduction of Bjorn is hilarious in the book. And Gandalf making all the dwarves kind of split up. He's not a bear when they meet him. They go to his house, he's out there, and he makes all the dwarves split up and come every so often at intervals while Gandalf is telling him this story, because he knows if he just introduces this big company of dwarves, Bjorn will say, "Get out." So he gets them all invested in their story and their journey, and then has the dwarves slowly creep in and, hey, there's another two, and it's very, very fun. In the movie, it's just basically unnecessary. they're not going to spend enough time with Bjorn for us to get to know the character or to really like him. So they should have just started at Mirkwood. I will say Mirkwood is a big chunk of the book. It's very little chunk of the movie. Like, the spiders take up a big part, and I didn't really love the whole labyrinth aspect of them kind of tilting the camera. This is a artistic choice. It didn't bother me that much, but I just thought it was kind of weird because they're basically on the path the whole time until, you know, a certain point. And then they kind of stray, and that's when things get weird. And they actually see the wood elves before, but that's neither here nor there. The part in the movie is just kind of meh. I will say the spider part is well done enough. I didn't love it, but I also hate spiders, so it was creepy to me in a way that was effective. But I'm scared of spiders, so I don't know that it would be effective to anyone else if you were just looking at it from the CGI artistic standpoint. Oh, the CGI bees at Bjorn's? Why? Stop. So I didn't hate the spiders. I thought that it was kind of an interesting thing, though I feel like the progression of them trying to show that the ring is corrupting Bilbo was really overdone and not necessary, because that's not really shown at all in the book. There's no real corruption from the ring. He doesn't use it enough, and we're not really... The ring is not the story. The ring is not even barely touched on. I mean, he finds it and he uses it, and it's useful. That's what it is, because it has to be very shocking in Lord of the Rings when you find out that it's evil. That's the whole point, is that nobody knew. And it's like, surprise, this thing that you've been using that you thought was helping you, that you thought you won by your luck, is actually really evil and can, you know, be turned against you and is actually, you know, kind of corrupting you. But you don't see that. And Bilbo, because of the toughness of hobbits, it takes so long for the ring to actually have an effect on him, which is the point. So this whole thing of him kind of, you know, killing that weird white spider, that was gross. I didn't look. I've seen it, but I didn't look this time. And then like grabbing it and then having kind of like this reaction of like, oh, I killed that thing and I was because of the ring, and I'm whatever. So I didn't like that. I just didn't like that they were kind of trying to show his like corruption that doesn't actually happen in The Hobbit at all. Also, we're now getting to my least favorite character add-on, and no, it's not Legolas, although I'm kind of mad. The elves show up, of course, as they do, and the elves are, you know, not pleased. Dwarves and elves do not get along. And I will say that I understand why Orlando Bloom as Legolas is in this movie. He is the son. We know that he's the son of the King of Mirkwood, so he technically could have been there. His inclusion does not add anything to the story for me. I don't think it was necessary. A cameo would have been great. Just having him like maybe walking around the halls because he's the king's son. Having him be this big figure in The Hobbit makes no sense. He's not in The Hobbit at all. Never mentioned. So that's annoying. The other thing, and like, please take this in the way that I'm saying it, not how I'm not saying it. I'm a woman, I can say this. The inclusion of the girl elf, and I don't know her name. I'm not even going to try to remember her name. She's the girl elf. She has no point other than to be the girl elf. She's not in the book at all. If you are reading The Hobbit, waiting for the part for the introduction of the hot girl elf, you're going to be waiting a long time, because she ain't there. And I don't get the choice. Like, the decision to put her in seemed like it was like, hey, we have an all-male cast, and that's a problem. Which makes no sense. If it was an all-female cast, that wouldn't be a problem. That'd be great. And it shouldn't be a problem that it was an all-male cast. I didn't feel like she added to it. I didn't feel like she was necessary. She's not. She's not in the book. She's not necessary at all. And it kind of kills me that they felt like they had to put her in there, because Tolkien obviously didn't have a problem with women. Éowyn in Lord of the Rings is one of the most freaking BA characters ever. And like, she's amazing. She kills, like, okay, I'm not, spoilers, but she kills the Nazgul when no one else can, because she's not a man. She's better. She's the only one who can kill him. And that's what's so cool. Like, there's not, like, obviously Tolkien did have a problem with strong female characters, because Éowyn's BA. And so is Galadriel. And, you know, even Arwen to some extent is a good character. But I really hated that they felt that they had to have her in it. It just made her seem like a token character. Here's your token woman character because, you know, we don't want it to just be an all-male cast. Stupid. So stupid. She's, of course, given this very, you know, great backstory of her kind of having this interest in Legolas, and Legolas's dad being like, yeah, I know about you harboring feelings for my son, but that's not going to go anywhere. Legolas's dad is also portrayed as, like, pretty much borderline evil. Pretty much the worst thing ever. When in the book, no, it's not like that. He's distrustful of the dwarves. The dwarves are equally distrustful of him. They don't get along, but there's not, like, this sinister, like, even the way he's filmed and the things that they make him do, he's so, like, I'm like, he's not the bad guy here. In fact, later, and I don't know if they're going to show this, I haven't seen the third movie, I'm holding out for you guys, he's just another elf. Like, he's not personal to him. He's not, like, against Thorin for any other reason than they're in his realm, and they're not telling him why. And he kind of sees himself as like, hey, I have to protect my people. I don't know what you're doing. And it's not like he's trying to get anything out of Thorin other than like, hey, tell me what's going on. Why are you here? And Thorin, being distrustful, does not tell him. So they have mutual issues. This is not like Thorin is like the good guy and Elf King is like some evil guy trying to like keep his people safe, you know, and ruin everybody else's life. But that's kind of how it feels. And the inclusion of the whole Legolas girl elf situation was dumb. I didn't like it at all. Even dumber is the girl elf Keely situation. It is Keely, I figured out, is the good looking one, because good lookinger one, because he gets wounded, so you keep hearing his name. So I was able to make that distinction. Hooray. So yeah, they're captured by the elves. There's the whole situation where this is Bilbo's big friggin' moment. Like, in the book, it's like Bilbo didn't get captured. He's their one chance, their one hope. You're seeing it all from his perspective. He's hiding. He's trying to figure out how to get them out. He is the one they're counting on. But in this, we get to hear Keely and Girl Elf talk about the stars and the light. And what even is this? This is not The Hobbit. Stop. Like, just stop. It's so atrocious. So, yeah, that whole situation is just boring. There's the whole exploration of, you know, kind of, you know, Keely and Girl Elf feelings and Legolas and his dad and all this stuff that's just not interesting to me at all, because it's not. So they escape. They get in the barrels. Now here's another little fun thing. Need a drink. Okay, so if you're wondering about the barrel scene, I hate it. The whole reason being that Bilbo's not dumb. He is portrayed as being dumb throughout the movie, and I will explain more, but he packs the dwarves in the barrels with lids on. Like, he knows if the dwarves go popping down the river with their little heads sticking out, that's gonna be a problem. They'll be seen. So Bilbo, of course, in the book, packs them in, puts the lids on. It's like, hey, I'm doing you guys a favor, and he's the only one who actually jumps on top and is the, you know, riding on top of a barrel. Everyone else is inside. But of course, Peter Jackson's like, no, you know what's better? Fighting with barrels. They need to be floating down the river. There needs to be an epic fight scene. You know, elves and dwarves and orcs and mayhem. Oh my. I hated it. It's so video game-ish. It's so over the top. It's so unnecessary. Why? Like, I understand if you like that kind of stuff, like the very over-the-top action sequences. I get why you would like it, but it's so overdone that I can't enjoy it. I felt like everything, in as far as fighting too, was not filmed as well. I was talking to my husband about it, and I feel like it's too clean. The especially the elves, that's almost dance-like. It's a little bit just too much. And in Lord of the Rings, like, the fighting is realistic. It's frantic. It's, you know, it's really, like, it looks like they're really fighting and killing, because when, spoiler, Boromir dies, and Aragorn is leaning over him, sweat, like, he's dirty, he's sweaty, he's got leaves in his hair. It's like, that's how you would really be if you're rolling around in the forest fighting orcs. Like, it was so much better, and I don't like it. Okay, so, and I feel like The Hobbit was, like, I'm not, like, trying to say Peter Jackson was intentionally trying to ruin great characters, but hey, intentionally or not, now we bring in Bard, who is great in the book, and I really like Bard. Bard is grim. He's determined. He's, kind of seeing that things could go south really quickly, and he's kind of the only one who sees that about the dwarves' little mission. And I like Bard. Bard's not a jerk, and Bard also doesn't have any kids that we know of, or family. Bard is the only one that is mentioned in The Hobbit as far as like his line. There's no little kids at home. There's no charming little backstory of him being descended from some guy who had the Black Arrows originally. I don't remember, what is it called? Hang on. Dwarvish Windlance. No. Bard has a bow with one black arrow. And okay, this is what kills me. And I can't. It kills me that the cartoon version of The Hobbit got things so much better than this. So Bardas comes in, and there's the whole thing with the master of the town. We have to add time, people. Time. So we get the whole sequence of the master of the town, and he's evil, and Bard and him have this, antagonistic relationship because he realizes Bard's like a good person. And yeah, I didn't love the inclusion of all of that. Bard is unnecessary backstory. His family, not necessary. Keely's wound, unnecessary, but we have to have Girl Elf come and save him. So they do that. They have to get weapons. They go with Bard. They finally eventually get to the mountain. And Keely is, of course, left behind because of his wound, so that we can have, some excitement over here. Oh, wait, and Gandalf this whole time. It's side quest Gandalf. You missed him before, but he's back because he's got tons of side quest for you. I freaking hate that they did that to Gandalf. Why? He has, this whole side quest that is not mentioned hardly at all in the book, but we gotta go, we gotta find the tomb of the Nazgul, and look, they're not there. And then we have to go find and, confront the necromancer. And okay, listen, there ain't no way they're hanging Gandalf up in a cage after they capture him. Gandalf causes stuff to happen. If I swore, I would swear here. That is Gandalf's MO. That's what he does. You ain't gonna just capture Gandalf. You're gonna kill him because Gandalf is the reason you have problems if you're a bad guy. Gandalf is the one stirring up everybody, going out to the Hobbit lands, and being like, hey, you guys, get off your butts. We gotta fight. That is who Gandalf is. He's a stirrer of the pot. He gets things done. He wants the trouble. He loves the trouble. He is the trouble. So that's why, okay, they did not just capture him and hang him up, but okay. We'll see how that resolves itself in the next movie, I guess. Guess what? Gandalf lives. So, yeah, sorry. So they get there. Gandalf has his little side quest. Meanwhile, the dwarves obviously don't wait for him. They get into the mountain, and Bilbo doesn't put his ring on. He meanders around. He has a ring of invisibility, and he believes there's a live dragon. In the book, Gandalf isn't this dumb. He's not just walking around shaking loose gold coins like it ain't nothing. And that's what's so obnoxious, is that they make him really seem stupid. And this is his one chance. He gets so little screen time in this movie and so little time to distinguish himself from a big cast of characters that this is frustrating. And I didn't like it. I do love Smaug. I'm not gonna ever be down on Benedict Cumberbatch for anything. It's not in me. But I wish it was more. I wish that it was more of them talking in the book, and not, Smaug kind of frantically roving around trying to find him. In the book, they're just talking, and they have this amazing exchange of a battle of wits, and it's fun. It's much more fun than what I feel like we got, and that's just my opinion. This whole thing is just my opinion. But I do like Smaug. Can't fault him too much. The melting Smaug with gold. No. That did not happen. Would not happen. Could not happen. So, yeah, that is just a really unnecessary thing. Meanwhile, Keely, of course, is starting to turn from his infected wound, so we get Girl Elf coming to the rescue. She heals him. And we get the whole, glowy scene of him looking at her and she's shining, reminiscent of Frodo and Arwen. Why? I don't know. Also, Legolas, kind of has been fighting to the whole orc that is sent, Bolg, I believe. Yeah, he's not in the book either. Just for funsies, I guess, we need more orc bad guys because Azog is busy. This movie is not good. I'm sorry if you love it, and love it if you do. That's not I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying for someone who loves the book and loves the character of Bilbo, this movie is trying to be Lord of the Rings, and that was their biggest mistake. Lord of the Rings is a totally different thing. It is a series with a big cast of characters, and it makes full use of those characters. I love Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit is a prequel about one character. I mean, everybody else is a side character to Bilbo, even Gandalf. These people, they only matter in relation to his journey. He's the one that we're following. He's the one that we're rooting for. He's the one who gets a cold after riding on top of the barrel, and we have to hear about how he has a cold at the banquet, and it's adorable. It's Bilbo. He's the one that we're on the journey with. We don't need to see what's going on over here. We don't need all this extra stuff. That's the charm of that story, is that it's simpler. It's just about a hobbit trying to go on this adventure and make it. He wants to get home to his pocket handkerchiefs and his tea and, his cozy hobbit hole, but he's still brave. He's still willing to fight for his friends, and they come to rely on him so much because they see that he is brave and he is able to get them out of these situations that they're stuck in time and time again. And that's what is just missing. It's just missing from this whole movie. This movie is an action movie. It's over the top. It's, it puts in every little extra thing it could possibly put in, and it's like Peter Jackson just could not say no to anything, which is sad. I also feel like it really negatively affected the character of Legolas, who in Lord of the Rings is a great character. He's one of my favorites from the book. There's nothing wrong with Legolas. Legolas is representative of his race in Lord of the Rings. He is the only elf that we really see in depth besides Galadriel, and he's seen throughout as being very, I don't know how to explain it. He's not a jerk. He's, he kind of has, there's some Gimli Legolas issues, but they resolve it and are best friends. And it's not that Legolas is naturally mean or angry, but I feel like the Legolas that we got in The Hobbit is emo teenage Legolas. I get that elves live a long time, and I guess we could have been witnessing Legolas's teenage years, but I don't think that's what they were trying to portray. Also, the contacts that they used were horrendous. I hated it. How can he look older and have worse contacts when he's supposed to be younger? His eyes are blue, which they did, I believe, have more colored contacts in Lord of the Rings, but it certainly wasn't that obvious. This was weird, and he had an eerie look to him. And he also looked pissed all the time. What do you have to be mad about? You're royalty. Nothing can harm you. You're basically invincible. Get over yourself, Legolas. And that bothers me because Legolas is an awesome character. Legolas walks on top of the snow while everybody else trudges through it, and that's yeah, he does. He's an elf. And he's not a jerk about it. He's a great character who is loyal to the Fellowship. He's not a Boromir who's like, oh man, I'm really mad. I'm gonna do my own thing. I got daddy issues. No. I mean, not that we know of. So, yeah. I'm sorry. This has just been a hard time for me with these movies. I love The Hobbit. I had a special place in my heart, always will. These movies are not good in my opinion. I will never suggest someone watch them if they really love the book. If you want to watch something fun and entertaining, watch the cartoon. It's entertaining if nothing else. And I enjoy it. So those are my thoughts. I'm going to go quickly over my notes just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking it out because I know these videos are long and rambly and I have a lot to say. And that's kind of why I'm doing this series because my husband is tired of hearing it. So thank you. And if you've subscribed recently and come over from my Instagram, I really appreciate it. I am super active on Instagram. It's Gwendolyn_Ransom. And talk to me in the comments here. Let me know your thoughts. I obviously had very strong feelings about these movies and the book, But if you just enjoy it as an overall adventure, fun movie, like I totally get that. And let me know your thoughts on The Hobbit and what you would have done differently, because I definitely say what I would do differently. And I will say, getting back to the elf character girl, Tariel, I think that's her name. This is not me being anti-woman, so please don't go there with me. I like strong female characters. I just don't like imaginary ones. Like Tariel exists in Peter Jackson's mind and not anywhere else. So if you felt like you connected with her, that you really appreciated having a female representative character in this movie, good for you. Like, I am a woman and I didn't feel the need for it. But I feel that some people might have felt that it was very necessary. I am not one of those people. I'm someone who likes to stick to the story. And since I have read since I have read Tolkien's other works, I know that this is not him being anti-woman. It was him not feeling the need to add this woman character here. And I feel like in Lord of the Rings, there is the opportunity to see an amazing, like, larger-than-life female character in Éowyn, and I always connected with her, and I always appreciated her. So I just didn't like that it was kind of... I feel like she was a watered-down version of Éowyn / Arwen / Galadriel, which wasn't really fair and kind of a disservice to her as a character because she didn't have anything of her own to offer except for like a love triangle, which isn't great. It's not great. Okay? So, talk to me in the comments. Let me know how you felt. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out so much, and I hope to talk to you soon.